Ladies and gentlemen, and Grinder, welcome in for a special 20th episode. Can you guys believe it's been 20 already?
It's
No.
definitely gone faster than I originally thought it was going to.
Yeah. So my main vision was I just want to bring all the originator OGs back because it was me and Neckbeard in my mom's basement, and then I interviewed Grinder, and then Joe messaged me. I thought we're going to have all this time to plan things out, and then got Tails, and then Rob from Digital Asset News. I thought we'd have months to prepare, and he said, "Hey, we got 48 hours. You want to do it or not?" So we were at least I was greatly unprepared for that. So just want to pick your guys' brains a little bit, debrief, if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Definitely. I don't ever really talk as much or answer questions, so it's gonna be a weird experience. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, because it's been quite a whirlwind. It went from 0 to hero so quick. So I'll just jump in to the questions we prepared, and then if you guys want to add anything, we'll just kind of go from there. So number one is, what do you guys think about going basically from 0 in our mom's basements to speaking with now multiple CEOs? We had Kent from Saz Mining. We had can't say it still, Lishin from Keystone. Other big players in the industry. Rob had, I think, about 350,000, and so then we had basically 48 hours to prepare when we did it with Rob. So basically, what do you guys think about that? Because we didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare, and now we're like getting people every week, and it's been a steep learning curve. Grinder, why don't you start with that?
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely moved faster than expected. Like when you originally reached out to me and said like, hey, like this guy Joe, I've been talking to him. He's just starting YouTube and he like wants to do a show. Would you be interested in like collaborating? And I was like, yeah, I was originally like my thought process was that it was just going to be like the three of us like shooting the shit on like maybe like a monthly or as events pop up kind of basis. And very quickly I could tell that, everybody like was really passionate about it and wanted to kind of have some more of like a routine or a set schedule. But I would have, even with doing a couple like back to back, I still didn't think that we were going to get guests as quickly as we did. And so with the help of, everybody kind of branching out and doing their own things and using their own connections, it's like everybody had a little pocket of people that we could potentially pull from, and one thing led to another, and it definitely picked up faster than I expected. And Joby has been a great addition. I love his contributions to the group and his social networking with the group. He's really brought on some really interesting people that a lot of people in the community probably haven't heard about. So
yeah, and then we got all the expertise, and like I think it's cool how everybody's played their role. His technical stuff, Grinder, you kind of keep us from bashing each other's heads in, because we're just a bunch of monkeys. But
I try. But the last thing I'll say about it, that for that question is like, I think it's also a testament to the Bitcoin community because, that we had conversations about, should we ask like certain people? And like, I would be the one that's like, I don't know if we're big enough yet. Maybe we need to try some other things. And I don't think they're going to say yes. And then we ask them, and you guys are sending messages to me like, hey, we've got this person, like, let's have it. So again, I think it's a testament to the Bitcoin community that like we're willing to come together and talk about Bitcoin and talk to the people who are like still here this far into, the tail end of the last cycle before the halving, when a lot of apathy sets in. So, don't underestimate a Bitcoiner. That they want to talk about it, they want to promote it, no matter how big or small you are. It seems like.
Humble plebs. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, don't think we've ever talked about this really, but the show started with me asking Rob, or talking to Rob at Digital Asset News about YouTube, and I was like, "Do you think I could do it?" And he's like, "Just do it." I was like, "Oh, well." He's like, "You'll never know until you do it. So just stop talking about it and do it." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna do it." I was already a moderator on his channel. Beardy and I were, we chit chatted in the chat, and so I was like, "Well, let me ask Beardy if he wants to come on." And then Beardy is like, "Yeah, definitely. I've got this guy called Grind, like Endless Grind. You should check his channel out, and then I'll do like a collab episode." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm down. Let's do it." And then here we are 20 episodes later. So,
yeah, in only like 2 months.
Yeah, definitely. And we definitely have been very fortunate to go from, like 0 to, I wouldn't say 100. I would say like a solid like 60, maybe 70. Like we're not, we're not at, I don't think 100 yet, but we're getting there slowly. But it's definitely propelled way faster than I thought it was going to ever. So I mean, we've had some really great episodes, and then someone I actually just we're going to be doing another episode with Lee Chen from Keystone at some point. His secretary actually just sent me a message saying that they're going to be setting up that new wallet that they had talked about, and so they're planning an early release at some point. So they're planning to do a release at some point here in the next, like 6 months, I think is what she said. So we'll have him back on again too. It's just like, oh wow, okay, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Well, you're never at 100 until you land the dev, I think.
Yeah, this is true.
So yeah, if we get everybody except him, we'll just be at 99.
Yeah.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit, Joe.
For me, that's fine. We're still beating, even if it's not 100. We're still beating everyone who never got off the couch. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like Joe mentioned, even if it was only for us, I enjoy doing it. We have family members who've been wanting to learn, like in his videos, they can pop in while they go for a run or stuff. So that's been nice.
Yeah, what's crazy is in my first episode, I even said like I will probably not do this for very long. This is just for the few people that I will be able to send the video to. If you're interested in learning how to do it, this is what it is. Like I never expected any of this. So.
And Grinder, how do you like babysitting us?
It can be challenging at times, but I guess it's not any different than what I used to do when I was a program director for a group-oriented program within an agency. So I ran groups of, on average, 8 to 12 people, multiple groups per day. So I'm used to navigating group dynamics and the different personality types and whatnot. So yeah, I try my best, but groups add some additional logistics or complications than doing something on your own or doing something with just a partner.
Personalities.
Yeah, personalities. So but it's been fun, like getting to know all you guys and all the guests that we've had on, and just kind of figuring it out as we go. And I think we're getting better and better as we navigate it. Nothing is just like the market. Nothing is straight up. Sometimes we have some bumps in the roads or ups and downs, but our trajectory is in an uptrend, I think.
Cool. Well, we don't have anything else on that. We can go to number 2. Kind of ties in with it. Like just wondering how. I mean, I know my life's changed. I wonder how your guys' life's day-to-day's changed. And my whole goal when I started 2.5 years ago was getting out of the rat race. And now it seems like within a couple of years, like that could actually be doable. So just wondering, what do you guys think? Like, how's your life changing, and how do you see the future? How your life's changing, and do you see any escape from the rat race? We'll start with Joe on this one.
Honestly, my life's pretty much the same. work, gym, dogs, home. That's pretty much it. So I'm not a huge people person. I don't really go out. I don't go out clubbing or drinking or anything. So it's just I'm trying to learn as much as I can. So I spend pretty much my weekends and any free time I have trying to learn about crypto, Bitcoin, just trying to learn in general. So this is pretty much everything for me right now. As far as like the rat race, is it near the end? God, I hope so. I don't know. I think that I'm that story about the Chinese farmer where he keeps saying maybe, and then I don't know if you guys have heard that one.
Yeah, I think I know what you're referencing.
Yeah. So the general story, the crux of the whole story is that you never really know, right? So the guy's son, the horse runs away. It's an old Chinese village. The horse runs away. The guy's son is angry and yelling, and he's like, "This is the worst thing that's ever happened to us." And his dad's like, "Maybe." The next day, the horse comes back, and he's got 10 friends, right? Like, and they are able to work the farm even better. Blah blah blah. Well, while the son is trying to work one of those horses, it bucks him off and breaks his leg. And everyone's like, "You gotta be so angry with that horse. It crippled your son, and you need to put it down." He's all, maybe. The next day, the army comes and recruits the entire village, everyone but his son. So like it just keeps going with like maybe. Do I think that the rat race is at the end for me? I guess I'm gonna say maybe. I don't know. I'm not counting any horses or looking any gift horses in the mouth or whatever. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and stacking and hope that it pays off in the end.
Cool.
Yeah.
Grinder, you're a couple cycles ahead of us, and you hit the jackpot with the Doge mining early on. So maybe light of the tunnel's kind of a little closer for you. What do you think?
Yeah. So, when I was thinking about this question, I was thinking about it in those two parts because, like, I really got into crypto in 2013, 2014, but I didn't really get into trading and like seeing it as something that I wanted to have as part of like my daily life until 2020. So, that's a pretty big gap between like learning about it and like, I mean, obviously getting into it more than the average person who like first hears about it. But I mean, I put it down for a while, just kind of looked at it in the background and just kept, my eye on the prize. Like, this is a gamble and it's either going to be life-changing money or it's not going to be life-changing money. Like, I resisted the urge to like cash out in the middle. I waited until it was life-changing. So, after 7 years that finally came to fruition. And if I could do it all over again, number one, I would have mined more Dogecoin and I would have bought a Bitcoin at cheaper prices. But, everybody would do that. So putting that aside, what I would do differently is I would have learned everything that I've learned over the past 2 years, way back in like 2014, 2015. Because if I had all that knowledge going into the bull run in 2021, I would have made a lot better bets, not only in terms of where I was layering out, but also like what assets I was buying. But at the same time, I don't necessarily regret those experiences because I learned a lot from it. And I think I had to make all those mistakes so that I don't make them again in the next bull run that's happening. So, and it's best to learn by doing. So if what I would say to anybody who's like, oh, I want to do like what you guys do, you got to be prepared to like have headaches, have obstacles, go through the flurry of emotions. Have a cycle where you're going to make all those mistakes and learn from them and don't run away from the space. Just continue to engage in it, make notes of all those things, and then hopefully I feel very much prepared for the next cycle, and I'm not going to be doing the same things as last time, and I have a strategy, and I feel like I'm disciplined now. So hopefully I can confirm that hypothesis in the next bull run, and I'm hoping that will give me the conviction to be able to say I can stop my normal job and do this full time. So yeah, I mean, Bitcoin and crypto has changed my life. So like those life-changing gains allowed me and my wife to in 2021 to sell our condo and move into a house. And that that was like the first life-changing thing for me. And now I am fortunate enough to own this house and have a historically low mortgage rate that we might never see again, or at least for not a long time. So I'm just going to count my blessings on that and hoping that my life continues to change for the better and get out of the rat race in the next cycle as well.
Very nice. I like. So I guess we'll just go to number 3 then. So,
sure.
Mr. Joe.
Yes, sir.
Crypto Conversations with Joe came up with the name for the show, which I didn't realize at the time, Breaking the Cycle. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize the initials were BTC. So that's kind of
I thought I hit a home run out of that one, and everyone just kind of ignored it. And I was like, all right, I mean, I guess. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, the second that you abbreviated it, we were like, oh, yeah.
I was a little, it was Grand Slam, but I just too dense to realize it. I'm like, oh, the initials are BTC. Wonder if he thought that out. But so, yeah, the question, I guess, is that's the whole ethos of our show, just trying to help just random, family and friends with, just help the little guy out. And so moving forward, what do you guys think about, how do we keep that ethos and moving forward and, just staying focused? And I'm sure future we'll have decisions to make, like who do we, do we interview BitBoy while he's in prison, or what do you guys? I'll go back to Joe first since he came up with the name of the show.
I think that, well, I was going to mention this earlier, so it kind of ties back to what Brian was saying earlier. If you have, like he was talking about with his positions, and he wishes he had learned things, in the certain times and everything. I think another way that we're going to make sure that we sell and do everything right is because we have this group, right? So like, I don't think that our group is going to let anyone feel like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'm just going to hold until it hits this unrealistic price target that it has less of a, very small % chance. We're going to be like, hey, dude, like stop being stupid, take some profits, like, and I think that's the same thing, it's just with what's going to happen when we get even more popular, when we have people start trying to, shill us or sell us on shilling shit coins and stuff. We're going to tell them to go pound sand, because no one in the group is going to allow us to do that. You know what I mean? Like someone is always going to stand up and be like, no, we're not doing that. I don't care what the amount they're throwing us at it is. It's not what we're about. Like we started this for a reason. I think that it'll probably, be like that for, the foreseeable future. It's just because that's just the way the show is, right? Like we all are all here for the right reasons. We all want to make sure that we're, trying to help people. None of us, I'm not trying to pick on BitBoy, but you mentioned him with that Ben coin stuff, like none of us are going to use our fame and popularity to make some stupid, shit coin and then decide to dump it on our viewers. We're just not that. Yeah. We're not those people,
Yeah.
So I think recapping the answer is just because of who we are. I'm not worried about us ever turning to the dark side, I guess I should say.
Until you look over one day and then I've got a hat with like Beard coin and Pepe Le Pew coin.
You know what? I will make the exception for Beard coin. If you decide to make Beard coin, I will fuck with Beard coin.
Grinder, what do you think?
Yeah, I echo a lot of what Joe said. One of the things that I thought about is, I think one of the best ways that we can keep moving forward is just being genuine and honest. If we're genuinely ourselves, we might be prickly to, some people, but at least um, we are who we are. And as long as you are being genuine to yourself, usually that leads to a greater sense of comfort and a drive and a passion that you care about. And that's what I like about this group, is that everybody's appears, at least to me, to be genuinely themselves. We're not putting on a front when we're interviewing people or when we're talking with each other. I can understand the necessity for certain podcasts to have like a certain level of like professionalism, or like even like maybe acting in, so to speak, to have it have a certain flow to it. But I like that our show is just like a round table chatting. We're not putting on that mask, so being genuine. And I think as long as we continue to do that, um, the gains will come to us, not necessarily just like monetary gains, but like the people, the community, um, good fortune, all that type of positive stuff. And I don't want to endorse things that compromise integrity or discipline. So, if somebody comes to us and says, "Oh, here, like we'll give you 5 figures to promote this like shit coin," like, no, I don't want to do that, because then it just takes away all of your credibility, and that's worth so much more to me than anything else. I don't want to be known as that guy that was, oh, he put out like really awesome charts, and like I loved like looking at his stuff, and he helped me learn about trading. But then like 3 years into it, he put out Grindcoin, or he promoted some coin ranked 10,000. And that's exactly the opposite of what he was telling us the whole entire time. He kept saying he doesn't go outside the top 100. He looks at tokenomics, and then all of a sudden he like threw that out the window. I guess they paid him well. Like, I don't want to be known like that. All this stuff goes on the internet and it stays on the internet. So again, all that just goes back to being genuine. So I think we'll keep each other in line with saying like, no, I don't want to interview that person because they're scammy or scummy in some way. I don't want to promote that, because we don't do that stuff here. But if we do our research, do our due diligence, and we all agree on what we're promoting and what we're endorsing, and also if we make a mistake, once as we find out that we made a mistake, come out and talk about it, and say, hey, like, new information has come to light and things change, not look the other way and keep, promoting something that we now know is not what it was originally sold as.
Yeah, and every guest that we've had on the show, like that has something for sale, someone in the group has already purchased that product.
Yeah.
So I think no, actually, because I had bought something from Keystone. I had bought their little their seed praise things. I had bought a couple of them from them. So I already knew their quality was good. So it's like I put my money, like I bought something with my own money and I brought it to the group and showed them, and they're like, hey, we should check these people out some more. And then Joby's like, oh, they make great hardware wallets. I already have one on order. So it's like, okay, then, maybe we should reach out and talk to them, because we're putting our money into this product, or this company. So obviously we believe in it enough. Maybe we should talk to them, we've never had, with the Shamri, Beardy had bought something from them first. Like we all, or you guys both had purchased, Keystones right after the interview. I think like the next, literally right after the interview. So we never we have never and will never put something that our seal of approval on if we're not willing to spend our own money on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the board game, and I got a onesie. I think Grinder got a plushie. And
oh yeah, I forgot you ordered from them too. You got the book set or something, right?
Yeah, and then everything was like handcrafted with notes, and it was all personable, and it's just like husband and wife duos. So this the whole community has been awesome. And then to
Yeah.
speak to Grinds, the threat, is real. Like, because I think we've seen people in space. I'm not going to name any names or anything that were respectable for like years, 2 or 3 years, and then you're like, wait a minute, did they just promote, something, or you see their name on a list later that is confirmed with how much they got paid to promote it, and then in law enforcement, they had a saying, it takes a lifetime to build up your integrity, and then just a split second to lose it all, and you can't get it back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's. Anything else with that one, ladies?
Nope.
No.
All right. So next, I guess it's just kind of about the steep learning curve it's been, and as Americans, we're pretty biased towards ourselves. So like. I didn't realize there were other time zones until we started, so I figured everybody was in the exact same time zone as me. So I guess the question is your thoughts on what a steep learning curve it's been and trying to get up to speed, like trying to organize schedules and time zones, like when we did it with Tails, if it was 6 o'clock for us, it's midnight for him. So we have to adjust our times, and then dovetail onto that, anything that's surprised you or kind of excites you for the future. Grinder, we'll start with you.
Sure. Yeah, it's it's definitely been a steep learning curve. It hasn't been like impossible, but there's a lot of work that goes into it, and juggling work, family, normal day routines, making sure that you're taking care of like self-care and mental health. That's all stuff that I had to take care of before this, and then most people do, and then adding in trying to do chart time almost every single night, that took up a significant portion of my time. And then adding in the podcast and scheduling around other people's schedules, it definitely started to get complicated. And yeah, it was interesting to, the Emmy interview was like a 10-hour time difference. The Li Xing interview from Keystone, that was like what was it, like an 11-hour time difference or something
12.
like that. 12, yeah. So it's like it definitely adds an additional obstacle, but I think now that we've talked to people on like the other continents multiple times now, it's it's becoming a little bit easier to manage, but yeah, we definitely have to work around that. So meeting more Bitcoiners and getting into these deep conversations and just seeing the passion in the community is really inspiring to me. So that's what I'm excited about, is just seeing where this continues to go and all the interesting people that we can meet, all due to Satoshi's vision and the technology advancements that we've had in our lifetime. That's what I'm impressed by.
Very cool. Mr. Yosef?
Well,
Bring it up a little bit, Joe.
Definitely has been a learning curve. The hardest thing for me has probably been trying to, like make sure that, because people don't realize it, but I do the scheduling for the show. I do the editing for the show. I set up the calendar for the show. You guys, have started helping me on that. I'm very thankful for that. It's just one less thing that I have to deal with all the time. But I never had to deal with any of that before. And then it, now started to, it just went 0 to 100, like we've been saying, or, 0 to whatever arbitrary number we picked. But, it's definitely taught me resource management, like time management, and like spending little time that I can, maximizing my efficiency, stuff like that. So, it's been weird. It's been fun. I love it. I'm going to keep, I want to keep doing this with you guys until we either get, uber mega rich, like George from Cryptoverse. Like he was saying, he's got a number, and when he does, he's just going to, that number he hits, then he's just going to stream like once or twice a month or a week, like if we can get to that point, it'd be pretty cool. We do a couple live streams a week and then just, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Hang out, trade.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. That'll bring us to our last question. We can't get out of here with talking a little bit about markets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're all semi-aligned and with the big three anyways, with market conditions. Bitcoin, Tesla, we think to the future. Solana could possibly give us our most bang for our bucks.
Yeah, more risk, but potential more upside.
What do you guys think about market conditions now and then heading into the bull run?
Why don't you go first, Joe? Because I've got charts to go with this one.
Okay. I think we talked about this weeks and weeks and weeks ago now. But we said that it's going to probably stay. I think we said it was going to stay in like the 25 to 35, 36 range. It's done that. Bitcoin has. Tesla has done kind of what we expected it to do. Be volatile and not make sense. People freaking out and selling off for the weirdest things, but they do, and we buy the dip. Solana has just been, I'm happy to say that they've just been chugging along, doing their thing. We've got Fire Dancer hopefully coming out this year, if not early next year, I think is what they said. I'm very excited to see what the big three, or for us, what we all, I guess we're dubbing our big three. Very excited to see what they do. Yeah, I don't really have anything other than that. Same stuff.
Lord Grinder, you said you got some charts?
Yeah. So starting out with Bitcoin, I think it was sometime back in June after this push from the
Your mic is going kind of weird, buddy. Did you do something to it?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it just sounds like it's like you're stuck on helium or something weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just mine.
Is it better now?
Try again.
All good. Is it good now?
It's just keep going, bud. You're good.
Okay.
Maybe he just has a really high pitched voice. No, it did kind of sound like you were stuck on a helium for a minute.
Interesting. Yeah. So I think it was like around here and like towards the end of June that we, or I was saying, if this push, I don't necessarily think that this push is going to continue with that much strength, because this top was not as powerful as this move. So this move was more powerful from like a volume perspective. If you look at the volume, the average volume is this white line over here. So there was more volume on this initial push. There was less volume on this push, and we couldn't really break that much higher than this. If you're also looking at the channel from that perspective, the first one went to the top of the channel and the second one barely got over the middle, and it was really struggling to kind of hold the middle line. So at that point, thinking about the seasonality of the markets, including TradFi, you got to kind of think like it's probably going to be pretty weak in the summer because of low volume, and historically that's what it does. And September is historically pretty much always a red month. So that was at the end of June was kind of like around the time where we started saying, or at least I started saying that, we're probably going to go sideways. Best case scenario, we go sideways and we hold the bull market support band because institutions are like buying at the bull market support band. But more likely, we're going to come back down and retest something. And, retesting 24K makes sense because we never really got to test it over here. And when we broke through it back over here, we didn't test it either. So a retest of 24K seemed likely. And to be honest, when this move came down, I I thought it was going to keep going down, but we've gone sideways and we just bounced back up on some positive news. I don't know if we're going to continue to kind of like go sideways and stay in this range, or if we will go down and test 24K. I would think that we're going to test 24K in September. And then, or if not lower. But I'm starting to feel more confident that maybe a retest of 20K would maybe be the lowest, unless we got some really big bad news or a black swan that might send us down to a double bottom. But this has been a pretty nice push right here, and we need to see what happens. But what I would like to see right now, as like Ben Cowan talks about, we don't want to get rejected on the underside of the bull market support band. If we do, it's just playing out exactly as it's played out before, and that would definitely send us lower. So hopefully we can get back above the bull market support band this week or next week and hold it. But again, September is not the month to do this. So I think we're going to see more downside first, and then hopefully we can rally from there. That's at least what I have on Bitcoin. Best case scenario for Bitcoin would be sideways until the halving. But we love volatility, so there's probably going to be more of it. And just kind of like tying this in, this chart kind of demonstrates the last cycle going into the current cycle that we're almost at the conclusion of. And you can see a lot of the similarities. If you take the Fibonacci sequence from the beginning of the last bull market in the last cycle in 2017, and you do the same thing for this cycle at the beginning with the Fibonacci sequence, and then you kind of just monitor what occurred. So we had our peak, we came back down, we lost the bull market support band, we came back up to try to test it and retake it. We got rejected. We came back down. We went all the way to almost the bottom of the Fibonacci sequence. And when we broke above it, we had a nice rally that got us up to the 0.382 level on horizontal support on that Fibonacci sequence. And then we faded that. And in September, that's when we lost the bull market support band and went under it until we were ready to kind of consolidate for about a year and then start the new cycle. So this cycle, it's pretty much the same, except we had a double top instead of a blow off top. So that's why you see this deviation in the middle. And it also extends out the length of like some of these moves, because you had more volume in these areas because there was so much more time to be trading in these areas. But when we ultimately put in the top and we came back down, we did the same thing. We lost the bull market support band. We played around underneath it. We came back up to try to reclaim it. We got above it, but we didn't hold it. And then we got rejected again. And we didn't break through on the first test of trying to get through there, and then FTX happened. We put in a bottom in the same Fibonacci range as the one before, just above the start of it. And then when we finally got through the bull market support band, we had like half a year run. And what's different is that, I said theoretically the maximum for this year that I would hypothesize would be 42,000, because that would be the 0.386 Fibonacci level that would correspond with a similar pattern over here. But this has been a weaker move than that was. So, but right now in August, instead of September, we've lost the bull market support band. And now the question is it going to play out like last time, where we stay under it for a while and come back down and retest the 24 or 20K levels and to consolidate before we go on a run after the halving? Or is it going to be different this time? Are we going to get back above it and throw off the market entirely and be like, hey, we're doing something different? But what we really need to pay attention to is what I have down at the bottom of this chart, which is the volume levels. The bear market in 2018, the volume was consistently going down. The bear market in 2022, the volume was going up. So there's definitely more interest in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin this time around than the last cycle, which is a bullish thing to see. But we're still having volume drop off like we did in the previous cycles during this stage of the cycle. So when we start to see this volume over here turn around and start coming back up, that's going to be your indication that maybe the bull run is starting. So we've still got more time. Our volume is low, but we should be getting close to the bottom of what the average volume should end up being for the bottom of this cycle, because I would expect it to be a little bit higher than last cycle's bottom, and we're not that far away from that. But we could definitely get to the same levels, and that's why I put this little note in here that Silvergate shuts down institutional on ramps, and you can see how volume kind of pretty much starts to drop off from that point. It limited some of the really big players that can really drive a lot of this volume. And this chart is made on a Coinbase chart. So this is tracking Coinbase volume, and we know a lot of U.S. institutions and big players are using Coinbase to purchase. So just that's my long and short of it for Bitcoin for the rest of the year and moving forward. Second part of that question, we're moving over to Tesla. I've been bearish on Tesla. We had the bearish divergence over here between these two peaks. So we have lower price action top here, higher price action top here, but the money flow index is in a bearish trend. So that was one of the points where I'm saying to myself, okay, this is probably going to go down. And it did go down, but I thought it was going to come right in here and actually bounce off of this line in confluence with these other indicators, the 200-day SMA, the Fibonacci level, and this back test of the previous resistance trend.
It may have continued to do that if Cybertruck didn't get announced. They didn't have them start rolling off the line. And then there's just been so much stuff on Tesla that in the last couple of weeks that have come out that if they hadn't just kept killing it and kept putting out record-breaking quarters and stuff like that, I definitely think it would have hit that level. Because you and I spent a couple 20 minutes talking after a show about that.
Yeah.
But I can't. I am kind of bearish. I was kind of bearish on Tesla this quarter until they started doing Cybertruck stuff. And man, is it crazy. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to share that with. That's a possible reason why it's spiked so hard.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, it also didn't help that NVIDIA is a tech stock. NVIDIA is in the the forefront. Everybody's buying NVIDIA, and that's making the Nasdaq go up, which makes other tech stocks go up. So yeah, I think that's a good point, Joe, and that all of that kind of contributed. But yeah, I thought it was gonna kind of come back up and hang out inside the bull market support band, not get above it and hold it, and then come back down. Because nothing goes straight down or straight up. So in hindsight, I should have just looked at the oversold indicator here and said that would have been a good place to purchase. So I got greedy with my entry, wanting to be right about that, and it looks like my thesis is going to be invalidated. Here's a second day hanging out right at the 50-day SMA. Once as it breaks that, I'm saying that my thesis is invalidated. So I have until the end of the week to see what happens. Maybe we do roll over from here. We come back down. If some negative news comes out, if September does turn out to be a down month for everything, maybe I do end up being right. But as of right now, it's not looking good, and it looks like I might have to wait a little bit longer to figure out where I want to enter. But I'm being disciplined, and I'm not going to enter a Tesla or a MicroStrategy position at this point because I missed this move. And I'm not going to come into a position after it's already moved 21%. So
I got to look around and see if maybe there's something else I want to do, or wait and see when the next point would be a good time to enter. But that's what I have for Tesla right now. And then last but not least, we were talking about Solana. Last thing I wanted to say about Tesla was, like, I think big things are coming for it 3 to 5 years from now anyway. So, like, any entry is a good entry. I'm just really trying to learn how to time my entries and, get good with that. So I've talked to a lot of people in finance, just like in my personal life, and I which ones are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones based on if they think Tesla's a car company or if they say it's so much more than a car company. So James from Invest Answers is definitely right about that one. So yeah, it's I think it's going to be a huge AI play eventually, in the FSD and the battery centers, and all those hubs. That's going to be the play. That's going to bring so much revenue. So we'll see what happens. So back to Sol. Last but not least, it's an altcoin when Bitcoin is not necessarily putting in new highs yet. So I think the best that we can hope for is sideways until Bitcoin puts in a new all-time high. Maybe it retests the lows, because altcoins typically bleed slowly while Bitcoin is going sideways. But in the long run, I think that it's a layer one that's going to survive this bear market. It's going to do well in the next bull market. I hope that Fire Dancer comes out and does well. I hope that the phone, kicks off. Maybe they have some other projects or announcements that happen, and we get more adoption. And I'll be happy that I was holding it and staking it and being able to capitalize on something towards the top the next time around.
I'm sorry, I just cannot stop giggling. I don't know what Joe hears, but it's the whole time. I don't know if it'll show up on the recording. It sounds like he had all the helium in the world, and so he's got like a high pitched voice. But Joe,
That's
are you
good.
hearing the same thing?
Yeah.
The whole time?
The whole time.
All right. Well, it's going to be either the funniest technical analysis video ever, or it's going to be normal.
All right. Well, we can get to the closing comments, and I also wanted to throw in the bonus. Gary Gensler's finally getting his feet held to the fire with the ETF and the biological blip in the court of law. His reasoning with the futures ETF doesn't make any sense. Now it's coming out. So what do you guys think about that and your closing thoughts? Joe, start with you.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, we all kind of knew that this day would eventually come where, people, because we've talked about this, right? Like they're literally doing regulation by enforcement. And we said at a certain point that someone was going to stand up to them and tell them enough is enough. And you're starting to get those companies that are doing it. I very highly doubt that they will even take the Coinbase. Well, actually, I was going to say I'd be surprised if they even continue taking Coinbase to court when they just got smacked down so hard. But they probably will. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think that Gary just being Gary and being a bully, and that he's going to try and keep doing what he's doing, regulation by enforcement, because he doesn't want to actually put out rules. And I think that eventually he's going to get, burned for it.
Mm-hmm.
Grinder, bring us home in a normal voice, or
is it normal now?
No.
Okay.
It's a little. I don't know if you changed something, but
no,
we'll see how the recording comes out. I mean,
when you first said it, my cat was sitting in my lap, and maybe he fucked with the wires or something. But
Joe tells us to touch grass, but he didn't say snort the helium.
What was the specific question about Gary and the SEC again?
Just closing comments, and now within the last couple of days, the court ruling came out that Grayscale's basically that the futures ETF that they approved, basically that made no sense, that he wanted to approve a spot ETF, and I know there'll be a lot of litigation on that and appeals and whatnot, but basically it looks like he's finally starting to be held accountable by court of law with logical reasoning. Just kind of your thoughts on that. Closing comments.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge win. I think it was a bigger win than we were expecting. I mean, to be honest with you, I knew about it, like that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust was trying to do the conversion. I've known about that for a while, but it hasn't been something that I was tracking. I don't invest in XRP. I rarely, put out charts about it until they won the SEC case. And I knew when that date was coming, but I didn't. This just came out of nowhere for me. I was like, wow, like what's happening? It's moving. And then all of a sudden everybody's saying about this case, and I'm like, oh, this is great, this is good news. And I'm reading into it, I'm like, this is a really big win for all of crypto. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I think this is a classic example of awesome, amazing news can come out in a bear market or apathy, when apathy set in, nowhere close to all times highs, and nobody cares. We got a nice pump, don't get me wrong, but this is huge news. If this happened in the middle of like a bull market when we're like creating a new all-time high, this would have been a god candle. But it's not that time of it's not that time of the cycle. So, but all in all, keep your emotions in check. We've still got time to accumulate. We've still got time to stack, and let's see what happens after the halving and go from there. But if you thought that there was still a chance that crypto was going away, it's not going away.
To the moon, to the moon,
to the moon.
Well, with that, I guess we will do Joe's line. Tell everybody to touch some grass, whether it be the physical kind or the kind that Joe likes, or Grinder likes, or the bag of helium. Hug a loved one and buckle up for the ride. Anything else, boys?
Make sure you do go in the van with strangers with puppies and candies. Do go in the van.
The van with free candy.
Joe says make sure that just trust that individual implicitly. It's a personal quality, I can tell.
Especially if I'm the driver of that van. All righty. This has been good and therapeutic for me, everybody. Till the next one, episode 20. That's a wrap.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Have a great one, guys. Talk to you next time. Bye.